Welcome to another episode of the South African Book Review Sessions, your online political book club, where everything political literature is eviscerated, vivisected, and dissected. Now, today we're doing a book. It's called The ANC Billionaires, the Big Capital's Gambit and the Rise of the Few. It's written by Peter du Toit. I'm going to talk a bit more about Peter du Toit just now. Anyway, this is a book that really caught my eye. Obviously, ANC Billionaires, and you can tell the people they've got here. They've got the ANC real big boys. President Ramaphosa, Mzibe, Sakima Kozoma, and Tokyo Swan. These are real billionaires. So it really caught my eye. But one thing I was really annoyed is the author. I have my own reservations about Peter du Toit. Main reason is this book. I've done a review on this book. I'm going to try leave a link on that description box. I do not like this book. I don't think it's an exceptional book. You can tell it, like, it's not a great book. It was not properly researched. It was just few newspaper articles put together just to give us a stupid thing, man. And it sold and it made money. It sold. It's one of his best-selling books. So he treats the issue of Stellenbosch mafia with serious kids gloves. He's very, very lenient on them. Doesn't do proper and thorough investigative journalism. And on the other, he treats this issue with very soft gloves. You'd swear he was twerking to be co-opted into their table. So I just didn't like the book, and I didn't like the way he presented it. It's such an important topic. And then it comes to this book. You see, this one. This one is a properly researched book. It's properly written. The man put effort. The man put effort. He invested effort in this book. The effort he put in this book, it's not the same effort in both books. He was, even the weight of the book, can tell you there's more content here than here. So I have a problem with that, and I find it like this is intellectual dishonesty. This is intellectual racism. Like, why are issues of white Afrikaner males being treated with kids' gloves? And then comes the issues of the ANC. The man goes all out. He goes all out. He takes us through the history of the African National Congress, more especially during its time in exile while preparing to come back. And he takes us through the resolutions taken on the economy and the economic posture that was the ANC envisaged during its exile days, going towards a free South Africa, the vision it had for a free South Africa. He goes through all of that, and he tells us of the first interaction between the ANC and big capital. And that importantly, there were some of the things he points out here. Most of the things he points out are actually true and factual and well researched, unlike here. So the book itself, the man goes through all of our interactions, our primary interaction with capital, the ANC's primary interaction with capital, and how the captains of industry were shocked when they met individuals like Thabo Mbeki who could articulate issues, and they realized maybe we are not so far apart. The terrorism part and all of these things does not exist. However, capital had a concern. When the ANC was preparing to come back from exile, capital already identified the ANC as the incoming government should we have free and fair elections where one man, one vote would take place. They knew that's what the ANC would win. So they wanted to actually ensure that regardless of the ANC's victory, their assets are intact. Nothing's going to happen to them. These are big companies: Sanlam, Rembrandt, Old Mutual, the big SAB, big South African companies, Anglo-American. These big elite corporations, South African corporations who were benefiting during the days of apartheid, decided, listen, we're not going to lose this thing. We need to find a strategy. This man takes us through all of that, the thinking, and that's the capital, that's big capital's gambit that he talks about in the subtitle, where Capital decided, listen, we're going to enter the ANC, but we're going to penetrate it smart. We're going to offer them, a few of those comrades, shares in our institutions. We're going to offer them a piece of the cake. We'll co-opt them to our table. We'll co-opt them to our table as junior partners, but the role they will play will be massive, because they will have to defend the status quo. They would have to defend their bread. We would have given them a share of, and that is exactly what happened, and that was the birth of BEE. The author talks about those particular early deals whereby Sanlam decided to sell a portion of Metropolitan to a new black company that had just emerged, and then all of a sudden, all of these entities were giving out shares to a few black individuals and a few black corporations, which were just mushrooming in the dawn of democracy. That created a big problem, according to the book. The book claims that particular co-option of a few individuals, a few politically connected individuals, robbed South Africa a chance of proper economic transformation, because the small BEE deals, which benefited a few, a real few, not everyone who was politically connected got these deals, but a few who were politically connected got these particular deals, and because of that they defended the status quo, and the state of the economy did not change. In fact, what happened is what we are seeing today. The gap of inequality widened between the poor and the rich. We are the most unequal society because of policies like BEE. And this book argues, and it takes you all through all of that, and how we taking those particular BEE deals actually had a massive impact on our own identity as an organization and as a government. The book takes us through ANC economic policies while in government. It takes us through RDP, it takes us through GEAR, and it tells us of how much it would always consider the interest of capital because of the few politically connected individuals within its ranks. The book tells us of a couple of individuals, some whom we know. It mentions President Ramaphosa. It mentions his brother-in-law, Patrice Motsepe. It mentions Tokyo Skhwale. It mentions Sakima Xhozoma. It mentions Matthew Posa, and a couple of others who've actually have benefited very much from these particular BEE deals. And the book leaves you with questions like, did the empowerment of these few individuals really cause us to be the most unequal society? Did it deprive South Africa and South Africans a chance in the wealth of their country? Did it deprive the ANC a chance of having meaningful economic change in the country? Did it steal our future? So it's an interesting book. It raises interesting arguments. It's a book that will leave you shocked, leave you questioning, leave you angry at times. Well, I'm a bit annoyed as a member of the ANC that it had to be Peter du Toit who writes this book. And Peter du Toit went all out. If a person who doesn't like the ANC reads this book, he has found some serious arsenal against us. This book technically proves that the ANC sold out the people of South Africa in the altar of capital. This is what this book proves. And it uses ANC resolutions, ANC documents, and it uses the ANC in government. And if you can look, these are very two different these are two, well, it's the same ANC, but with different objectives and different outlooks. One is still in exile and one is in government. And he tells you the main reason that those are different is because capital got there and interfered. The book also makes you ask, did big capital interfere in the project of transformation in South Africa as a whole? Had big capital isolated itself or disarticulated itself from this whole process, what would have been the outcomes? Would the ANC have not lessened the gap between the poor and between the rich and the poor? Would our inequality, would we still be the most unequal society in the world? This is a book that has left me with so many questions, and it angers me because it took a white man who dislikes the ANC, an Afrikaner man who dislikes the ANC, to write these things. And if a normal person who's not a member of the ANC, like myself, would read this book, they would absolutely dislike the ANC. Now, what do I think about this book? I think this book is interesting. I think it's a fantastic book. I think it's well written, but I have a problem I have a problem with the author. I absolutely have a problem. Actually, I've read his books. I don't just have these two. I've got this book as well. Probably I'll do a review of it a bit later on. And in these two books, the author is a bit more, yeah, he goes all out, man. He's more researched, he's more angry. You could feel his discontentment with the ANC. But then here, he treats them with soft gloves. If you would read this book, if you would read these three books, you would think these are heroes. And these are the real seller. These are the people. You think, man, you conclude on something on something incorrect. You'd see this as your enemies and this as your friends. And truth of the matter is, all of these people, anyone who has robbed South Africa an opportunity of growth, is a problem. And it was these very individuals and their representatives who actually made sure that the ANC become the organization it becomes. They made sure that individuals within the ANC are given a share in their table so that they can do the defending on their behalf. And they've been doing that defending for years now. And they've been getting old and they've been still holding on to those particular interests. That is why we do not see any meaningful transformation economically or otherwise, because the transformation project has been sold out in the altar of profit. A fantastic book. How would I rate it between a 0 and a 10? I'm not going to give it a 9. I'm not going to give it a 10 either. It's a good book written by a man whom I accuse of intellectual dishonesty and intellectual racism. So because of the author, I'm going to give it a 7. It was supposed to get more. It's a good book. It asks the correct questions. It will make us think along the correct lines. But the problem is the person who has written it will always find a way of including some form of undermining generally the leadership of black people, not just the leadership of the ANC. And I find that within so much of his literature, not just on this book, but in this book as well. So I've read his books. I love the author. It's just the author. And I'm going to give it a 7. But besides that, it's a book. You can buy it. You can buy it. If you can, don't buy it, man. If you can, don't buy it. We'll make you copies. We'll make you copies. We don't have to buy Peter du Toit's work. I've bought enough. I've supported him. We don't have to support Peter du Toit. No, but besides that, it's a good book. Get the book. Empower yourself. Even Oliver Tambo tells us that you must learn from the enemy. Even if it's your enemy, if they are doing something correct, learn from them. And this time around, Peter du Toit, has given us a real run for our money. This man has condemned us. So because of that, it's a 7. You can get it, you cannot get it, it's okay.